Hi there everybody, and welcome to my beginner's guide for Chronicon. I'm Icon, and in this video I will talk about how this wonderful indie ARPG works out for you. So I'm going to talk about the basic gameplay loop, and I'm going to introduce all the features which are kind of unique to this game because, as an action RPG, Chronicon does not exactly invent the wheel new, but it does so many things so good that it really deserves my showcase here more than I can put into words. So in this game you have four playable classes. There's an archer, a warrior, a paladin, and a mage class. And just like in all the other games of this genre, you have you have a couple of chapters which yield different levels where you run around and kill stuff. I'm just going to get inside there and showcase for a moment how things work out here. You have your map, you have your enemies, you have your skills, and well, that's just how things work out here. I mean, there's nothing really special about that. Once you play one ARPG, you basically played them all. There are skills attached to your left mouse button, your right mouse button, and to the numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. Also, the game uses a assignment of belt slots for the buttons here. So there's health potions, return scrolls, you don't have town portals in this game, and some utility potions in general. Overall, the game is pretty simply put. You have this mini-map here, and brown staircases are story staircases, blue staircases are optional staircases, and there's a lot of things going on there. The usual things you might expect from this game. Side quests, main quests, you name it. What's really cool about this game is the way how it handles character development and story progression. So when we check out our skill tree, we see that we have four different tabs for every class. There's the Wind Ranger, the Druid, and the Stormcaller, and last but not least, the Winter Herald. As you might already notice, this is cold damage based, lightning damage based. Well, the Druid sounds like more of a... Just want to check out, did I say anything wrong here? Yeah, it's poison damage. And last but not least, the Wind Ranger goes mostly for physical damage. At the end of this block, there's also a Mastery tab, which acts as a power-up system for your character class, but more about that later. So every time you level up, you gain skill points. Maximum level in this game is 100. And the really cool thing about this game here is these skill trees, they work like that. Every plus icon here yields different options for your skills. So you can take on that slot either the Poison Shot or the Spore Wind. These work entirely differently, and you can select by yourself which kind of skills you might want to have. But on top of that, what I really personally love about this game is that you can, even when you have learned these skills, just right click there, click the swap button, and you can just change out these skills just like you want to. This means you have a wide and versatile skill array that you can use, because for every single of these slots here, there's at least 2 different skills to choose from, and this gives you a insane amount of build variety inside the same character class. The only thing that's pretty similar to all the classes is that they all have kind of like different elemental paths. For example, here it's cold damage, lightning damage, and poison damage. For the Templar, the Paladin class, it's other elements. So it's always a certain specialization you can go into. And that's one thing I really loved about this game. And it's very easy to get into. And especially I did like a lot that you can swap out these skills just as you want them to. We're going to get over to a higher developed character now to show you the other features of the game. So, this Templar here has already hit level 100, and as you see here, the skill tab here is entirely filled. I have skilled a little bit of other trees, and this is where you can do a crazy build depth, like I mentioned. And here's the Mastery tab. Once your character hits level 100, you go past that, you start to earn Mastery skill points, which can be used to buff up your elemental path even more. There's generic skill points, and Well, if you check out the health note here, it has a rank 3, and if you check out others, that's rank 20 of 20. And as you see here, this has no limit. What I try to say with that is character progression in this game is pretty unlimited. So the longer you play your character, the more potential there is. And on top of that, you can always go to this NPC here and you can do a lot of cool things. You can not only reset every skill just like you want to, so there's no need to build different characters to try out different builds. You can also export and import character builds, and that's why I love Chronicon so much. It has so many useful features to work with, so you can really go... You can either just pick up single points and replace them, you can completely reset everything, and like I said, you can export and import these builds even. Really cool features, making the complexity of this game a lot more manageable. So on top of that, well, we have a gem and socketing system. Gear you have here has stats, health, mana, and damage. That's every single item has health, mana, and damage. And then there's stats, like these with the blue numbers depicted down there. And these are randomly rolled, and down there, there's also gem sockets. You know that from other ARPGs possibly. To find your gems, this were really a pain for me. You need to click that green icon here. And as you see here, there's 7 different types of gems. That's 3 different quality types, and they all do a lot of different things when you socket them into your items. One piece of advice from my side, don't go too crazy about socketing things too much. It's really easy to hit level 100 quite quickly, and that's when it's really paying off to socket things for real. Speaking about level 100, the game features a very flexible difficulty rating system. I'm going to show you that over here in the menu. So when you check out the difficulties here, the game features 5 different difficulty levels. The casual and normal difficulty, I'm not going to talk too much about them. They are the easiest among those and pretty good to get your feet wet. The heroic difficulty level is pretty hard to begin with, but you can begin with it. I would highly recommend this difficulty level to you if you are an ARPG veteran and you want to be challenged somewhat. And on top of that, there's the epic and the legendary difficulty. My personal advice is, as soon as you grow bored with your difficulty level, because it's growing too easy, just swap over to the next level. You will not regret that. The game is so much more fun when it grows more challenging and especially more rewarding. As you see here in the epic level, there's a lot more different bonuses on your drop rate, and most importantly, when you play the legendary difficulty, this is the only difficulty where the highest item tier of the true legendary items can be found. So I started playing Legendary when I was around level 50 or 60 and got really kicked hard when I tried this game out for the first time, and I enjoyed every single minute of it because it showed me my weaknesses of my build and where I had to optimize. So I really like the difficulty system of this game. Try that out as much as you want to. So we're going to get over to the other NPCs. Here's over here is Sarek, your merchant of well, your generic merchant. You can sell off different item qualities over here. These crystals are the general currency of this game, basically. You can have 2 extra bag slots here. Well, you see, this one features 9 slots, this one features 6 slots. You can expand your inventory slots with that. I think I don't need to explain much about a vendor. We all know how these work. There's the gambling vendor. We all know how these work too. And, well, Chronicon does all the things a classic ARPG does, and it combines that with a lot of convenience. But here's the enchantment system, which is something I really loved a lot. Here you can re-roll different items. Either you can completely re-roll the item, or you can scramble by generating a fresh set of enchantments. These are the things down there below the yellow lines. Or you can also try to augment and, well, lock in these enchantments. All these tools give you a wonderful opportunity to customize your items even deeper without relying too much on RNG. These use your crafting materials, stuff you just find basically while you're grinding like a madman out there. On top of that, we have Theo, or Friendly Transmutator, which is, well, everybody who played Diablo 2 might remember the Horadrim Cube. Well, we have transmutation recipes, and there's secret recipes, so, well, experiment around with that as much as you please. Up here we have the different chapters where we can go into. It's all pretty simply to understand. We have these crowns mean that there's a boss enemy, and the little goblin here is giving you the opportunity to reset your difficulty while you're in game. So this is only the tip of the iceberg, of course, and there's much more to discover in this game, but these are pretty much the basics of what the game has to offer. I now want to add in a couple of things that I found very, very helpful in the configuration menu. Then we're going to wrap up this beginner's guide with that. But that's really not all to know about this game. So in the settings area, I want to talk about the loot filter, because that's a really, really nice thing. So here you can, first off, configure either a default filter or create your own. And here you can select what should be filtered out, or what should be displayed, right? Much more. Whatever has a check mark here will be still displayed, and whatever is out of the check marks will get filtered out. This is really, really, really useful to get some management into your clutter. There's also a auto loot on the Q button, which you can configure with that as well. So possibly just configure that on something like this, where it only soaks up the most important and valuable of items. It's up to you how you want to do that, but I want to showcase that loot filter system for sure, because it's really good. If you press Q, you see here the pickup radius. This is also augmentable. And last but not least, I want to talk about the interface settings here, because I found them really, really helpful. And I didn't like the basic settings for a couple of things. And what I really needed to put up was the display of the enemy health bars. It really messed me up to not see the enemy health bars. And what was also very, very, very helpful for me was the... where was it? Here, display cooldown values. And this was one thing that really helped me a ton, because without that setting, whenever you trigger a skill, you don't see that number. You only see only see that white bar here. And if you like to cycle your skills precisely, it's really good. And also, if you have skills with high cooldowns, the last little bit of that white cooldown bar can be oh so invisible, and that's why I love to have these numbers up. So last but not least, some general tips in case you struggle with your character build, which are true for every character class and every RPG. Try to stack up HP and defenses. If you die too much, and even if you don't die too much, as long as the enemies die decently, try to skill up your defenses as much as you can, because this game practically scales up forever, and therefore, due to that, you can only survive by increasing your defenses. Most ARPGs have a favor, like you should invest 60% of your efforts into defenses and 40% into your... 60 into your defenses and 40 into your offenses. This is, of course, only a rule of thumb, and every build varies totally with that. Some characters need more, some characters need less, but as a rule of thumb, maxing out your HP, as long as you have enough damage, is never a bad idea. Also, this game is based around large monster amounts, like a lot. Use that. Build your build with enough AoE in mind, because area of effect damage is going to be your method of choice to get through a lot of things. Beyond that, well, I don't want to spoiler too much in a beginner's tutorial, because we pretty much wrapped up all the things that were necessary to mention. We also have stashes. I just noticed that I forgot these. We have training dummies and all the good stuff. And there's really a lot of depth in this game, which I only scraped in this tutorial, but I wanted a beginner's guide, and that's the beginner's guide. So I hope that was helpful for you. Feel free to drop me your comments down below if there's any question, or if you feel like I left out a very, very important thing for beginners. Just add it into the comment section. I would be really, really happy if you did. If you liked that video, leave a thumbs up on it, and of course check out my channel where I do daily content. You might want to subscribe and turn on those notifications to not miss anything in the future. Also, if you liked that video, check out my description box down there where I have my Twitch channel link. You might want to check this out. I stream daily there too. And last but not least, if you might want to check out the links for support, be that Patreon or Coffee or whatever scratches your itch, I'd be super happy about that. No matter what, let me thank you one more time for watching this video and wish you a good day. See you soon, mates. Bye-bye.